thanks for joining us today. And I'll give you a moment to appreciate the fabulous recycled shoes.
From plastic bottles.
From plastic bottles.
Absolutely.
They look very good.
Thank you.
I wish I'd worn trainers myself
Second
today.
floor Harvey Nichols, if everybody's looking for them.
Of course, the subject today is sustainability. And I want to start by asking you about how you've made procurement and operations more sustainable. And specifically, what have been the biggest challenges to that?
So sustainability is the sort of Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase, right? A lot of people just thought it was a great term to learn about, and I believe there's a lot of confusion in the beginning what sustainability meant. And I was part of the steering committee with the UNWTO in developing the 17 SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. And going back to your question, I think the part on innovation, if you like, and shoes. We're wearing shoes today that are recycled plastic bottles, and in our industry, in the hospitality industry, which actually contributes to probably the highest carbon footprint, right? We have guests who stay in rooms, leaving the lights on, leaving the TV on, right? And I don't know if you knew that, but leaving the TV on for an hour consumes about 9 tons, or actually emits 9 tons of carbon emission. You can Google that. It's there as a fact. And I think the innovation that the industry has gone to improve in reducing carbon emission footprint, and IHG is probably one of the companies that took this head on by actually guiding us through the Journey to Tomorrow, which is our beacon. It's our guide for a 10-year sustainable business plan. That allows us to ensure that we drive sustainability through focusing on our people, the planet, and the community.
Yeah.
And with development today, and focusing on people, bringing in, looking at the sustainability and looking at how you bring in the community into hotels, into the industry, right? So it's part of the sustainable goals is actually preserving culture, heritage, history, and that culture and heritage has to come into the hotels, right? And part of the innovative solutions in sustainability is bringing the culture into the hotels, right? So you always use this term. So if you're in Saudi or you're in Dubai or Jeddah, Riyadh, you can always find a 5-star hotel, but you can't find Dubai in a 5-star hotel. You can't find Jeddah in a 5-star hotel. And I think this is the trick that we all, as operators today, regardless of what brand it is, and it's beyond the coffee and dates at the entrance. It's how do you bring that whole culture into the hotels? With IHG's Journey to Tomorrow and focusing on our people, focusing on upskilling the talent, focusing on bringing in the culture and heritage into our lobbies, especially with the Hotel Indigo brand, which really has a neighborhood story within as sort of the brand essence. And I tell you, there's so much headroom in that space.
So, with regard to shining examples of IHG brands across the world, what would you say, to inspire other hoteliers, have been the best examples? I'm thinking of places like Ziggy Bay in Oman, for example, things that hotels are actually doing to not just make a difference, but also attract guests with the difference that they're making.
Well, a good example on Ziggy Bay, they actually produce their own bottled water, and through a reverse osmosis, but also that the filtered water that comes out of that, the salt water, they use it for a salt water pool. They also have about 5,000 trees on property that they use grey water to irrigate. But even a greater example than that is the Crown Plaza in Copenhagen, which has the whole facade is lined with solar panels. And what I really love is that they've got this underground water system to cool the building throughout the summer. So if you think about history and traditionally, this was part of the architecture of most of the older buildings. Another one is the Six Senses Svart in Norway. This is a completely off-the-grid resort. It opens in 2024, but that'll be the first sort of carbon neutral property IHG will operate.
Okay, so tell us about that. What's going to make it carbon neutral?
So first, the fact that it's off the grid means there's no connectivity of water or electricity, and using renewable energy and recycling, the uses of water, so gray water within to use for irrigation, but also the using solar panels to power the units, and also using food compost to also generate energy as well, or generate fertilizer. So all of these components to driving renewable energy into that property is going to be a great example for how we build off the grid hotels for the future. And Sarah, it's not about existing hotels only today. It's not about the hotels of the future that we design and build for sustainability. That's sort of the easier part, as you know.
Yeah.
You're going to build in 2050 new hotels. It's easier to design those, right? It's the existing hotels. For example, for us, more than 80% by 2050 will be existing hotels that we need to convert into carbon neutral or reduce the emission.
What is the plan for those legacy hotels? How do we make them carbon neutral?
Great. So look, again, going back to the Journey to Tomorrow that IHG has launched this 10-year business plan. Part of that is really working with our owners on developing capital expenditure plans for us to start looking at the future of their hotel operation and how we reduce energy. For example, one of our programs that we use is called Green Engage. Green Engage gives general managers 200 actions to reduce their utilities and energy costs, right? And we now recently signed up with Schneider to automate the utility data entry. Now that makes it seamless. It also makes it credible to report back on our energy consumption. I mentioned earlier how much you consume in a TV, right? For 9 tons of carbon emission in an hour. So and also I think the industry has went into innovate, these cards where you remove the card, the power shuts off, put it on. But now housekeeping just gives you 2 cards now. You just keep one in there, one for you. So it really doesn't suit the purpose, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of innovation around applications that allow you to control your climate for the unit that you're in, the room. Also allows you to control the lighting from outside, and potentially that will evolve to control many other aspects of the room, whether it's mood, whether it's air conditioning, whatever, throughout through your app. So let's say you've left the room and you've forgotten. You're someone who's sensible and responsible. You've left the room. I forgot to turn off my TV. You just go on your app and you turn that off, right? That's the future that we see in sustainable products. But again, the biggest trick is going to be, and the hardest part is converting existing hotels into a carbon neutral.
And will the apps be used in the existing hotels and the legacy hotels?
Absolutely. I mean, that's going to be your sort of launch through the next 5 to 6 years to start building these applications that allow us to launch within the existing properties and then design the new ones that are coming on board. Absolutely.
And you talk about IHG Green Engage. This is basically a method of each hotel in the portfolio measuring their carbon footprint, and it gives them tools to reduce. Have you noticed cost cutting from this? Because it all seems like logical ways to save energy and water. Has that had a financial benefit?
It has shown that using the Green Engage, as you should, making sure that you follow all the 200 actions, if you like, it can have an impact of up to 20% in energy reduction.
Okay.
Right. So that's one part, but obviously 20% in your electricity and water bill is quite big for especially big box hotels.
Yeah.
Now, on another side, what I really love is the food waste management as well, right? So in a program that we have also collaborated with a company called Winnow. Winnow is basically a waste management system that takes mirror images of everything you throw in the bin, and it gives you a weight of that. So let's assume you're throwing oats off of the buffet, and every time you throw oats, it measures it and takes a mirror image of it, right? And then at the end of the day that you've just thrown away 100 liters of oats. Now, the food and beverage team will re-engineer their menu to make a decision either they remove the oats off the buffet and then portion it on the menu. So it's just portioned, and you can still enjoy that off the menu. But then that offers great cost savings and also manages waste. Now, one hotel of ours here in Dubai is a great example. Using Winnow, they've saved $65,000. To me, that's not $65,000. That's 65,000 meals in countries where it is $1 a meal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So where else have you seen success? What has been the most impactful out of all of the IHG Green Engage hero tools, as they're called?
Again, look, some of the properties here in Dubai, where we're still finding our way to launch this and get better engagement in Saudi. Some of our hotels in Saudi are already on this program. Some of them are still, engaging. But actually, it's really a great example of what we're seeing in our properties here in the UAE, especially in Dubai, and where we have clusters of hotels. So you take the Dubai Festival City, where we have about 1,000 keys across 4 brands, right?
Yeah.
That's an opportunity where you cluster not just the operations to reduce operational costs, but also reduce energy costs by ensuring that you have the shared best practices across these properties through their management system, right? And we've seen, especially in the hotels where we have big meeting space, sort of the Crown Plazas and the Intercontinentals, that's where the opportunity comes. Because when you look at our conference here today, so the abundance of food that's out there, the amount of energy we're consuming, these screens that, the amount of heat these are emitting, all of this, we are carefully studying and looking into, and how we reduce, that impact on the environment and energy costs in general.
And what targets have you set yourself as a group? Because I think every hotel group has set themselves a date and a target. What is IHG's?
So by 2030, we aim to reduce our carbon footprint, reduce our energy costs again by 20% across all our hotels within the region. We also are looking to ensure that we bring in carbon neutral properties by 2050. So all of the hotels that we have existing, they will become carbon neutral through our design plans, and also the capital expenditure plans that we aim to launch imminently through these existing legacy hotels, as you mentioned before.
And are you going to promote and advertise this to the market? Because obviously there's an increased demand for sustainability now. What's your plan to tell the world?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, if we look at the young generation today, they're making choices, and their choices are based on, they want to associate themselves with organizations and companies that are sustainable or have a sustainable story. So in order for us to continue to be appealing for that market segment, we certainly need to be marketing in the right way, but also include them in what we're doing, and making sure that they understand that they play, a key role and a part in bringing sustainability into our hotels. So some hotels, including ours, we have practices where we leave a card on the bed and say, you either, if you want us to change the bed sheets, look, 9 out of 10 people don't do that. We just remove the card, and the same way when you shower and you use a towel. If you're at home, you probably use your towel at least twice, right? But when you're at a hotel, you just throw it on the floor in the tub, and that's where this generation needs that responsibility, because it comes with the education. So the more you are educated through our marketing on sustainability and our sustainable story, the more you become responsible, and you become adaptable. It becomes sort of a lifestyle. Right? You understand that the impact that you make on the environment when you're staying in a hotel or even in a restaurant. So one of the other actions that we've done that we're now marketing is the bulk amenities, and a number of other operators are probably doing the same. And I think we're really grateful for the Saudi government to have approved for us to start with bulk amenities across our brands in Saudi. Now that saves a huge amount of single use of plastic from the small amenities in the rooms. It does not take away from the quality of the product that we give, because we still associate ourselves with great brands that resonate with our brands, and also it still gives the consumer the same experience, if you like, but it has a huge impact on the environment doing that. Also, some of the activities that we're doing as well on that is we're moving away from single plastic use bottles. as Ziggy has done, for example, Festival City is already embarking on again another project to move away from bottled water and produce their own. We're also working very close. Our communications team, Parisa and Ankita, working very close with the Dubai tourism team on the Dubai Can project. We have also a Dubai Can set up right outside the Dubai Festival City. So great to see that right in our neighborhood. And our hotels are really keen to start, doing many more of these processes to remove single-use plastics. Just similar to what some of you probably experience supermarkets here in the UAE. If you go to the supermarket now and you don't have a bag, they're going to charge you for the bag.
Yeah.
They don't give you a plastic bag; they give you a paper bag. But they charge until you learn to start bringing your own, right?
Yeah.
And then that's the future as well within the hospitality industry. When you start to impose on consumers, we're probably creatures of habit, right? We get to build habits as they get imposed on us, and the more we become more firm in the industry, we probably get more traction on bringing people on board to a sustainable future.
And finally, we've talked about the role that the consumer can play in helping towards boosting sustainability. Is there anything that can accelerate sustainability from an infrastructure or government support point of view?
I think, look, many governments have taken on sustainability. If you look at Saudi's interest to develop sustainable hotels of the future, not just in NEOM alone, but also Saudi government is looking at, what does the hotel of the future look like? How can we bring more sustainable hotels? I'm not talking about just energy cost but creating jobs, as well as protecting the environment, protecting life under water if you're a resort, protecting life above water if you're not a resort, and sourcing locally. So actually supporting the local community, buying local produce. All of these examples are now becoming part of what the government is encouraging investors to go towards. And investors today are looking for brands that offer these sort of practices as well. With that emphasis, with the government taking a leading role, whether in Saudi or here in the UAE, and making sustainability really at the core and at the heart of everything they do, it becomes a sort of a regular practice, right? It doesn't become something that we feel if you don't do it, you're going to be fined. It's more that we have to feel responsible and we need to do it because it's doing the right thing, right? It's protecting the environment for the next generation.
And I've certainly felt that in 2022. I feel like it's the backbone of all policy now, and that's a great thing. So good luck with your sustainability goals in the future. And Haitham, Mattar, thank you very much for your
Sarah, for the
time and your insight.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.